Una banking. Beze o can be a no mame. Say among for Beshana before pa.
No correct.
Na abronya dinya wanted him ya. Do be a casa na ya. But it's not in competition with abronya. Then you can go to fino. Ya pa. Then you go to fino cra. Intimacy ye ko anymore. Systematically. Help the way they graduate.
Comedy. Me no ya dwena me dase so said you a photo dey obi here photo. And so he's in right. And the good thing is that he's even watching the show.
Oh, okay.
But just a quick one. Who say I agree. It's actually a lot of people hold Ken in higher standard than Abronya. I did Abronya be ya fan where you okay ya onya dey. Onfa honi. Because Abronya
on the Abronya we no omon kan asem.
Entina
Ken dey
and quickly, just a context. Ne hono mo fidi de kwache pa.
Yeah.
Na me wo ho. One more the proposal or the truck kata, obi truck kata man no a party no some party pa na che glaucoma set in.
Okay.
You will sit down no untimi enya ahoden ye de emo so say obayare along the way.
Yeah.
So mo the kata buy. To mo the kata buy, im say penifo we de man we ne de man we ne de man we. Omo pass ya na bedu general secretary. And a general secretary de kata de ma ken say eh ujamfo wo de se wadwuma ni edi kopesi kan de emwa papa no. Ti we kai say that time on 7,500 cedis.
Okay.
E hwa na bronya incident ni de esi nti context ni say e bra na ye pesi ka ma obi no. Wo ye ho so ye hia ni. Me na de bra me by a drew say e po bia me na de obi atem bia. Wo na ye from when na ye ke go. Asem ni nyina no. But who say wo de abufu e kasama instead of hia ni no say hia for.
Yeah.
And I got a voice that so was here for but the contest was not who say background now man obi han tiase so the here for United atom. In terms of Nipan lifestyle and the conduct and what he stood for. Why na sebi bro waboa mo bro ani omo mu be than Ken in NPP. Nobody. The list can go on. It's been a way of life. If you want to also measure so much on sa or trances na. And to be fair, the context has to be properly said. But I don't think say ya DSO person did here for it. And now go president do say talk about go here for them. Now go here for the door so get better.
Question me sir we first one. Say son na PR for the education ministry.
Yes, not correct.
Say now the young fan say educate the former education minister so team so person be the flag bearer for the MPP. Will you rescind your decision?
As a former boss.
And a former boss because one man with Juma. Ube jacken wako akoye adwuma de amano.
Eh, yes, once a soldier is a soldier. Oh no, never former boss. God, I've said a boss. Papa.
Okay.
I think for me, my decision to support Keno is just anchored on one key principle. It has more to do with the Exp0se 2028 or what Akwanyane Ahmeden so bet me win party in the general election. I am sure said Dr. Dutum is a very fine person, just like Honorable Brian, other people are more expressive. Dr. Bawumia Munina person moba. But Sebio, it has not more to do with you. You also have to listen to a form for. What I told to almost say. Oh, sorry, almost say. Oh, more they care about the better day. Amano. Dr. Dutum can win obviously with the party support, but within imprimpri, Sabre Mono, one also to say a form for who so about it on Betomano. But aside that, say subsequently, no, say 2028, no, ba other Indian support in a coordinate. But imprimpri, there is a fine gentleman. Fantastic human being, Nejuma Obey education. And see, Obi Amemetra radio so born Nejuma Hunde. I should be the first person to believe in him. Of course. But within the current circumstance and current context, I call less than 1.7 million. You want to say here somebody like Kennedy Japan. When they say you, I say prekese, Obi Nimna who say then what should be to me.
The last question. Did religious affect the electoral fortunes in the 2024 elections?
Religion has 7 hours a day. Oh, hey, I did Dr. Bawumia say affect. So I see a quick report to say affected. But for me, look, I respect Dr. Bawumia's view. But this is what I'm saying. There's a very sensitive one intimidate. I quite say bese panic kuna have and penny set by so I just use 2 minutes to answer. For me, I'll be surprised if Okwe report does not capture religion and ethnicity as factors affected 2024 election. Not on any ill motive, but we are a people of religion. We are a people of culture. Dr. Bawumia crowd there didn't buy it. Yanka said banner just to prevent the whole target MPP account party. Was religiously and tribally motivated. Didn't like him say religion and tribe did not affect the election. But mind we you 2 bars mark 100. Emu 99 a bompire and send you 2 bars. We are people of religion. Kremoni Kwari Christian. Recently gave you a minute at religion. First you catch them so you Christian. And that is a reality. Yeah, we've only learned to live amongst each other. It does not necessarily mean say those religious friends say decisions, or when we are making decisions, we don't make recourse to those religious and ethnicity. You make it. You are 1592. They be a Santa region to my MPP, voter region to my this. What are you talking about? Say ethnicity affects say your electoral outcome. It does. But the whole point are not Dr. Kase. We say not example no use a sense out, and I'm doing that briefly, just a minute. We say a sense out or no Muslim no OBT Reverend Minister or no software in terms of the elections. But my remember just a brief analysis if you were where at every point when you take the text out of the context, you only be discussing the pretext and not the text properly so called. I said now me come confess with Laura, but most of the time But I want to say at every point you should look at the dynamics present before you are able to do a holistic analysis of the course you okay. I sense out as a man independent candidate here. Independent candidate we have in team for Joe no MPP no onu pulu 26.22%. In team for Joe pulu 39%. And an independent candidate also pulu 22.38%. Right? Now they compare Dr. Bawumia votes. Will you be able to make any fair or comprehensive or coherent analysis? If you want to compare, if you want to have a very holistic view or analysis of what really pertained there, you have to compare the presidential elections and the presidential results to that of the previous presidential election. I mean, presidential elections in 2016, GM 35.77%, Nanadonya 62.22%. Now, 2024. Over 2025, GM 50.56%, DMB 46.68%. And to the DMB, quite compare another DMB so say 15.54%. And GM so the course 14.49%. But in London, what I just want to say is the independent candidates, now or a pro MPP guy, one move votes in me a day. That's how come you see Dr. Bawumia's votes being higher. But the Dr. Bawumia votes compared to the predecessor, President Akufo-Addo, the votes so rather 15%, and John Mahama votes rather went high by 14%. So you cannot use that as a test case to say, religion did not affect. We are a people of religion, a people of culture. All our decisions are born out of religion and ethnicity. Why do you say about the NDM play? He plays a role. Okay. I beg to differ.
What is it that a good number of you, when I say you, Momo Binomwa, Baby Basinkonia Shadon Humo, Binipa Binomwa, as you say, for be big crown abba, Binomodia, Momo Binomwa, Manaka crown near there. But now a lot of people are coming on board. Why? What is it?
Say be a brew, I think say season behind the dynamics that plays out, and at every point they be a casa memo in a development. Say be a bemenipa as a tremor de akoyi na wanu timakuano na say the Kwasi the American dream no. We can also have a Ghanaian dream. Omaimuha say be a bruyete. Oye young person na uwisku, and I've read a lot of researches and statistics. But the nicest one, Pokre woman, too scary, say, Nkora national service, say, Kabia, Nkora national service, it will take a minimum of 10 years for half of that national service bar to get permanent employment. Not foreigners in their own country. The remaining half will still be searching for the next 10 years and so a permanent employment. Nkora school, I've read other researches, almost Nkora school, the state can only employ 2. Now, all these are the basic challenges that we know as a people, and these are challenges. Nana me call GTV no more book clip be. Na kuwa esi na bia kotoka beba champo beba we beba. And you know, say the reasons they cited for those schools, are the same reasons you hear so and the two for. So the principle and the point I want to make is that our challenges as a people has always been the same, but the bigger vacuum intimate of your challenges also has more to do with leadership. And so leadership counts, character counts. Now, Bribiano, your approach to building leaders to solve the basic challenges, i.e., unemployment, ebine jumso, ebine galamsey, healthcare, agriculture, no money adeno. Abribiano, ya den kofwa be a from say career politicians naba. And we start if you solo mo bro Bible mo. Ohu akora no afa no apagya no wa keys no den kofwa wo go nyina ne aboy sama no. Oh, akowe de open kwara sempa. And then a minister na say be a MP na say Mary Obeyen say na ye recruit nkofo to maintain be a gutters no. Ono na one day wa shada for camera see so. No ko gina gutter mu 22 bi no 23 bi. Musa ho say let's put data on it. Gutters na ye hu omo say be a obi a open position obomati o fufu o to gutter mo no. Those one-off events na ya hu no has it been able to solve our problems as a country for us. And for me, if we want to really address the challenges of our country, career politicians, it looks like we'll be bromo. And believe you me, people, the little hope or trust that them for politically exposed individuals, let me give you a clear instance. Mr. Mahama, I've always insisted, say, Mr. Mahama's second coming, Ghanaians don't really have much expectation from him. Why? Because they feel, say, MPP amemono certain standard on model to any expectation no more pay free MPP amemono yentima anya dey amomosa. So for me it is not the MPP which even lost, which even for example it's not Mahama who even won the election, but has more to do with the MPP losing the election. So that to the average Ghanaian, in the absence of what we expect to be good, then we can even go for bad. Because it shows you how obia level of trust that people have in leadership near the ECOFOM. So me, at the country particularly, the Honorable Kennedy Japan campaign has to do with character counts. Character and a defining leadership. And now me come off back because what is the vision of Honorable Kennedy Japan? I'm saying, maybe a drone within the 21st century, we don't need vision again. We need leadership. Vision there, me fear me from a phone call Google. I can be able to type vision for a country. Yeah, but more be brainy. I can't there. No, maybe a drone. We need that leadership trait. We need that leadership to transform Libya. We need that leadership to transform Botswana. We need that leadership to transform China, Malaysia, other Singapore, no money. That is leadership counting. That is what I see in Honorable Kennedy. Of course, people have misinterpreted it. Yes, you or a temperamental. But Abibiano, Sebio, I will not sit here and pretend Honorable Kennedy Japan or a saint. No. Yes, I'll be very dishonest to myself and to Ghana. We have seemingly character traits. People will see some as weaknesses. People also will see some as strength. But it's about how you leverage it. The so esiha cap esiha near so guma. Who say half full. Who say half empty. So it depends on how you see it. Instead of maybe say who temperament. Yeah, I agree. There are certain things because honorable trek a crowd home, but be passionate about the biano. Well, here they will be address at the corner. Obakacha so a temperamental.
Yeah.
Obia. That is a disciplined leader. But Krum Hana, or my word, I try him woman. What can I do to be here? I just say, look, I want to day on Canocre. So we need to leverage the character traits, the lifestyle. Bakufu Timi employ about 7,000 workers, build steel industries, and then charity Monto, a factory, a fruit factory, cold stores, and all the businesses are building. For me, I am of the view, say, baby, I don't know. You hear Nipasa. When you look at the lifestyle, what he stood for, normal what he criticizes, to the extent what he criticizes on one own party, we need somebody who is that disciplined within this present moment. Will be a hope and trust and confidence of politicians to lead us as a people.
Even though all you need is provoke Kent, and he will go haywire.
Well, and now I made a pronouncement on one of your sister stations, and I said, let Ken be Ken. And I always stand by it. Let Ken be Ken, which I say.
Oh, so you brought that phrase now.
Yes.
Let Ken be Ken. Let Ken be Ken. No?
Yes. Yeah. Because there is a history to that.
Okay.
Trump, Brana, the campaign manager, one more day, the people, his campaign team felt that we need to change the guy. na Trump and Semu Hawk can any can say you Trump quite know is what the demand no money Obi or Yabano conviction or sentence or it might be the president. But they realize say the leadership, the every people get the leadership that it deserves, and that the leadership is the reflection of who the people are. Into unya leadership abribiano, akoye more or less like pentimento or butri or eno brand of say ahombrasia hine incorruptible. Mahama is the hope. But our argument is that Uka temperamental. The other leaders that people also see as timid. People see other leaders as timid. There are people who also see other leaders say, "One crowd, you're manipulative." Buaha, obiati manipulating. Me, last election, won't go for a case who was say the neighbor just to have control, which may not necessarily be so. These are normal, but we are timid. It may be a weakness, but also it can also be an opportunity. Leveraging who so this guy is a calm person. Just like Honorable Ken. Why has people see him as temperamental? Mimi who say he's a human being. In character traits, obviously he will seek to build himself. But Mimi who more or less like a bold and fearless and passionate leader. Yet, Mikobi, I had the opportunity to be there half a day. A young man, chairman, on the papa no relationship, far microphone, for about 45 minutes. Did papa tem can sem ya. Me, the ordinary expectation is Tanku, se mashiwa bufua, na minya na MC, ordinarily no, and can we crack one for microphone in your day, Emma, whatever another person or for Nanka Mwajo. You we are a microphone, question Kenya day, and so on Casa. And the sad part is Abronya yes, I know money all leadership petuo, minu or train yadwa, obien who timi condemn we. Whilst you see him as temperamental, don't you also think it's part of the Ghanaian value system? Say, Obi at the end of penny for where I say a catcher and say adio day. What I say, Ken may be so passionate about it and talk it in a certain way. Within the Ghanaian context or cultural context, people may not really appreciate it. Say, oh, Ghana the Nkasem. But let me ask you. Your cultural context, your katasubo mo so empese normal, your beckon that's how it is. In terms of educational transformation. And a building roads am I, a building hospitals am I. And the more about to make of millions of dollars contracts here, but we get people defending him. Why? Because Ghana the company. So for me, there are sometimes you need to call a spade. But I also agree that Nipa, just like all of us, say who leaders they need to stand up. When people also view him as temperamental, whilst it can be construed as somebody who is so passionate, bold, and fearless, he also needs to work on himself as a human being.
Timidity and temperament, you think temperament is the best?
Well, I don't.
That is if it is so between timidity and temperament.
For me, I am of the view that the people of Ghana are more interested in what these two. I mean, without even putting names or faces to them, but I can speak for Honorable Ken. The people of Ghana are more interested in what he can do for them based on his lifestyle, what he stands for, and what he has stood for in the past. Somebody who ultimately challenging the party. Say, hey, look at this. Nipa, how many years now in politics? Has there been any tag of corruption on him for once? What I say? These are what the ordinary people of Ghana seeks. That pentimento style of leadership, Okova that boy. Now, I'm hearing the video about Obama BBT. Obedi and about the video. Onyatam. But who call for a brown purpose? Now, are you more interested in the new baby buyer and other my health care? We need to, as a people, be conscious of that reality. Say a politician, you move away from that manipulative politics. Within a certain context, for harmonious living and harmonious building, obviously from no church, it's symbolic. Now, be a mind for communal labor, but we draw to do that. Who wants to say, Edisika, ya far workers, ya say, ya own here MP, no cotigatem. No. Mean who say, all these developed countries and advanced countries, I see a military, or who's a Trump and I said, not David Cameron or and now Putin, no. is a failure. And we don't need to admit that as leadership. A systemic failure, I just to say, my muhano, and then the leadership. As well as some jehine, beba, or bebazuna bokone conflict that's so, but as well as some Brandon. Our you see, the template that we have been using to select our presidents has more to do with PR inclined than the reality that we face. That's why I'm saying that let Ken be Ken, let the guy be himself.
As an ordinary Ghanaian, I be a team baby. What is different about what me but say Ken becoming a president? What's going to be different? What can template be a Ghana hire you for so long?
MY.
So what is going to be different with Ken?
That's why I say I say if you want development, one, leadership counts. And if you want leadership, true leadership, character counts. Character is everything. So now character counts, say you should look at Nipano, the hallmark or the trademark of him. Say me one thing we cannot all deny and say yes, Ken, you're no nonsense person. And just add here as my or Maya need to jump a traffic to buy a Land Cruiser. Uti police force have been bra webu emraso. Why? Because obi ebi. Sana etiewaha. You need character, you need leadership, you need somebody who can look into everybody's face and say, even if the whole country say, Sada the Yajitum on the day, Onyintu, Nemretia, character, leadership counts. What about the lifestyle and the life situation? What does it stand for? Me, I gave you a statistics. School. Half of that national service batch we school. Averagely, you are looking at about 150 to 200,000 every year. Universities, including the private universities, will graduate. It will take a minimum of 10 years for half of that batch to get permanent employment. The other half will still be searching. If you want to break it down, graduate school be a NIPA 12 be a, the state can only recruit 2. And I'm a young person. Me who say my future is very bleak.
Of course.
People are living American dream, but I cannot even live my own dream in my own country. To the extent they say, they are not foreigners in their own country. A government comes in and he says that your first love letter is dismissal letter. We are 4 years, 5 years, 8 years, 7 years, averagely. And no be the age. Me and I me politically exposed. I mean, me 3 years old. So the situation is very scary. That if you ask me, can the campaign team should save Ghana? Because situations like this, you need somebody the lifestyle at his own private level in terms of the biggest challenge and the biggest problem which has to do with the unemployment and the lifestyle. What has it been about it? And then your campaign your campaign has always been more general into any individual base and affecting individual life. And until na buy bia MPP beka free SHS, one district, one factory, one village, one dam. But you see, you could see interchange. AC is legal. Now we commission, now video, now santifo in share. The average person no take cocoa farm, interchange who so faso. So it's about the time our discussions about politics should be more individual centered. Yam building the individual lives. Creating Numa, Memu and Kranya Binya Day, Enye. No, when you're Binya, also talk, I also could see interchange. On what the car of our day, or who's on faso. So for me, that's what I believe Ken stands for. That aspect of FIMA, ETB building any panel, building the human capacity and Manibibino. And his lifestyle has demonstrated. As of now, the Juma Webieno has been able to recruit 7,000 people. The mindset now has to do with entrepreneurship. Believe you me, what the Maken Manon can say, or the entrepreneurship alone, be revolutionize Ghana to cause change. Now ubi abrabomu any abrabomu ye and now unde bibi and sakua no timisha or noma. That is where the evolution of development can start from. So for me, I believe that beyond his lifestyle, Sebia Wabobra in terms of the entrepreneurship skills and now even about the character traits, what he stands for. No nonsense, man, disciplinarian, patriotic. I say same way say I am of the view say if you would net and when he had compare all other people are a boy. And finally, even as an MPP, we need him. Senya Ken pa, let's be very honest, and I'm very mindful here because
na me ba be bisa what na me kono say
yes.
Omo amene omo akasa ebia timi catcher we say it is easier for Ken to become a president than for him to become the flag bearer of the new patriotic party. Why is it so?
I think context is also very important. And the context is that what they compare previously, now it looks like Dr. Bawumia had more acceptability with the establishment than
the incumbency
advantage. So a vice president, he had more access to the ordinarily, it was more or less like he had a very good system in terms of how the electoral system college to win.
It's not like that now.
It's not like that now because they say because I mean, how could you have an election previously? All 137 MP support one candidate. I mean, there is I wouldn't say it's questionable, but is intriguing. How can we have an election at all DC is at 260? Constituency yes, 267 constituencies, so to say. No, 237. All 237 constituencies. DC be a support to one candidate. Or appointee be a support to one candidate. It means that, well, at that time people felt Dr. Bawumia, but of course with the electoral outcome, I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people may want to amend their position. For me, I think right now is the reverse. The reverse is however true. I've met a lot of people who told me this almost something came by the day. I feel he has a very brighter chance of winning the primaries and even both the general elections.
Should there be changes to new patriotic party? Said more constitution any other because there have been number of course. Say you support that idea?
Oh, certainly. I mean, situation warrants its own response. And so that idea be any penny who say it depends on how you look at it. When you take advantage of it, a bit will see we lost by Amaya and Casaya 2 years for Asya and part of the Opese Mokam Hubo Musa and there's a Sayabani who say you've rebranded, you've learned, and those things. There are a lot of things that you also have to change. And one of them also has to do with the constitution. I think there's been proposal, first of all, Honorable Ken make a proposal, say, one, Ubia, you're in a free party, whether on the phone party, whether party, the phone, the back. That's the amnesty bit. And there's also a lot of proposals about opening up the electoral college. Because you want to say, and no one before and so it's one of the reasons and so so those reforms, those proposals is in order. Now at the end of the day, just we have to get expansion and get everybody to participate or involved. And that for me reflects the true essence of democracy, no behind them. It's in right order.
Unity of party.
Yes. Now, question I say what be that you see into go about
there's something. Me Ken I say once in my entire Ejuma me. Now Franco will tell you I like him. I've said it me my radio so I can't. And I'm that person that oya DNA ya metena me can bibi ona ntwe ya me can party nyama mu ye
already adam say be bro ya to abawia ben voice was not
of course
and onu musaka say woka etima na e ga se bia ma ka I'm sure say ben eyene ya people may also see it as derogatory other than match or kaka, but within the context and then can manage the Africa. And they say we never lose elections, our assumptions looks true. Oh, when a year say, but medium we say it's an invitation for all of us to regroup, re-strategize. Na the home here say fire home and phone so chair home. abribi ameka se enipa timi party bone a party so timi enipa ye dey e bone enti o hwe na no thank you to I start here honorable Ken also MOB amnesty unity Dr. Bawumia no so ono so chebi unity nyina na e kabom. Usually in people know when there is a sense of direction and there is a leader, I feel so be the airline. In with time, thank you to you. The pulley out. Me I'm referring to Honorable Ken team, but na the question also no. Na you say one more accounts be to my day. Atwaswa pepe. But at the end of the day, thank you to a series of activities, a better police station elections. A budget party for adjoining a call Congress, a better approval, a basic, a canning in our boom, we need a leader. Medium say, Asumji, a beba. As I say, Asumji, or as Ulu Sulesi, we are not, Obia,
understandable. Yeah. From the word go, thank you, Toy, because opinions will bring the free party more. About man for charging. Was it a good one?
Yeah, it was. Just say it's a neck decision. Now, one say one more highest decision making body of the party, yeah. And Osha there have been precedents to it. History. One more Omonya Kwenya Akwas flag bearer and even presidential candidates in Inano.
Yeah,
this is not the first time. And to be very honest and to be fair. Ordinarily, it should have even been Dr. Bawumia's thank you to because one of the ballot paper.
Of course.
Just that this year now a quiet novel. And now one more say other candidates or more prime minister are enjoying it. So if you look at the motive and the intention, they are nanka and for so be anything. But that way nipa ho ade. Na was a kunya to any pie de epre. Politicians say they more kwanya bia with any least opportunity bia no.
Take advantage.
They want to take advantage, market themselves, do the politics of it. And also na bia no afa no bi obi so any interest bia. A lot of times we are the main actors, and of course the main politicians na HD4 no. Sometimes people in their attempt to show so much loyalty and love to their candidate no, was over passionate. Na no maybe wo hokra na ese e fancy na akochia ndi nipa ho adwuma and also the say the Exp0se, but overall I think people made their comments and their opinions. Exp0se calling it off, Exp0se tension come too much, Exp0se be no back off with who so the marketing ho based on comments about Exp0se how the discuss platform. But if you look at the overall motive there, at least symbolically no, it's good to say within the partners we are a juma a book so where they will say as to be the teacher man and the anti man we just have to take responsibility and move on. The only expectation I may penny say when you talk about thank you the say we are people of culture, we are people of values. Abribia yeti Kwasi the nim kwan fa so de ete eka thank you to and commitment ase na say okwa obedas the edikai be a normal uncle yenina, you take responsibility for it as a leader. To that cry, to say, as some girls have no some quasi, Timbaco for Timcase, Penny or Metumina day, as is so. Now, what's say, the SCB a chair be a fire born in a day, and to say, they move on. Ordinarily, that was what I felt should have been the key variables in the thank you to or the template that we will use in the thank you to. But, and yet, I don't want to blame anyone, but politicians, the Oma politician be our platform. Who's a year since the campaign?
Of course.
To the sense of mobilizing them, don't do much here. How our fans was running at those are, I mean, no my count. But at some point, you do commercial. Honorable Ken felt to say the continuous presence in the thank you tone, be so much tension because, like I admit, Dr. Bawumia na say here thank you tone. The other candidates are coming now, or supporters who they say, oh. Also, they have to also give you shine. But also believe you say no, you don't have to steal anybody's shine within the context of event. Na at the tension near there, but rightfully you pull out and allow the process to continue.
I see. I think that explanation here, Ghana and I think it was timely. Time nearby, no?
Yes.
Nah. Oh,